Hello, and welcome to APS Stamp Chat Season 1. I'm Scott English, Executive Director of the American Philatelic Society. Joining me is Ron Bresney, presenting the Philately and Deltiology of Walpurgisnacht and Hexentanzplatz. This is Ron's first Stamp Chat. He was born in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and lives in one of its suburbs today. He is a retired litigation paralegal and a longtime writer. Ron has been collecting stamps on and off since 1965, when he was just 10 years old. In 1979, he became interested in horror literature after he read his first Stephen King book. He started collecting horror books, including signed limited editions. He eventually got into writing horror and has published short stories and articles in the field. He is a former member of the Horror Writers Association, but he still occasionally contributes articles to its newsletter. Interestingly enough, the newsletter editor is also a stamp collector. Ron combined his interest in stamps and horror by starting a topical collection of horror and Halloween on stamps. He's done presentations and articles on the topic, including an article for the American Philatelist. He is currently working on a checklist and handbook of spooky stamps. Ron also collects stamps of the United States, Confederate States, and Canada. He also has two other topical collections, Alfred Hitchcock, his favorite filmmaker, and summer, his favorite season. He has various cover collections as well, including local postal history, local philatelic history, and covers from U.S. Navy ships named after local places. Ron is a member of several philatelic societies and clubs, and he is the founder and president of the Wyoming Valley Stamp Club in the Wilkes-Barre area. For those watching the presentation live, your microphone and camera are disabled during the presentation. To engage fellow attendees, please make comments in the chat section. If you have a question, please use the Q&A box, and we'll get to those questions at the end of the presentation. If you're watching a recording of this presentation, please feel free to ask questions in the comments section. This program is provided thanks to APS member support. If you are not already a member of the APS or would like more information about our services, please visit our website at stamps.org. Ron, welcome to Stamp Chat. It's great to see you again.
Thank you. Okay, welcome to the Stamp Chat, the Philately and Deltiology of Walpurgisnacht and the Hexentanzplatz. Oops. In German, the title is not much different. Die Philately und Deltiologie der Walpurgisnacht und des Hexentanzplatzes. This presentation is about postcards, stamps, and postal history related to Walpurgisnacht and the Hexentanzplatz. These are part of my horror topical collection. Walpurgisnacht, or Walpurgis Night, is called by some the second Halloween, or spring Halloween. It occurs on the night of April 30th to May 1st, which is exactly midway between fall Halloweens. Like Halloween, it has its origins in ancient legends and rituals, and also like Halloween, the story goes that it's the night when the veil between this world and the next is the thinnest. And has some of the same traditions, such as bonfires, costumes, and playing tricks. The Hexentanzplatz, which translates as Witch's Dance Place, is deep in the forest of northern Germany in the Harz Mountains. Supposedly, this is where Walpurgisnacht was observed in ancient times. I have a number of postcards, both vintage and more modern, in my horror topical collection, showing Walpurgisnacht, Hexentanzplatz, and the places around it. But I found only a few stamps depicting these subjects. In German lore, Walpurgisnacht is the night when witches and the Hagedissen, forest and mountain spirits, meet on the Hexentanzplatz and hold revels with the devil and plot trouble, mischief, and evil for the coming year. Hexentanzplatz is near the town of Thala, which is in the Harz district in the state of Saxony-Anhalt, Germany. Near this town is the Brocken, the highest peak of the Harz Mountains, and Bode Gorge, a long ravine formed by the Bode River, which has its source in the Brocken. Over the Bode Gorge rises a crag called the Roßtrappe, and the Hexentanzplatz is a plateau high above Thala, opposite the Roßtrappe. Now, these stamps depict the area. A 1993 stamp from Germany showing the Harz Mountains. It's at Scott 1794. A 1961 stamp from German Democratic Republic picturing the Brocken, which is Scott number 539. A 2018 German stamp showing a spruce forest in the mountains, which is Scott 3055. And a 2012 German stamp picturing a train running through the Harz Mountains, which is Scott 2654. Now, Schmalspurbahnen means narrow gauge railroad. Narrow gauge railroads are often used in mountainous areas because they can have tighter curves than broader gauges require. This is a local revenue stamp from the town of Tala. Gebühren means taxes. And the area we're discussing is shown circled on this map. Now this postcard shows the Bode Valley with the Hexentanzplatz on the left and the Roßtrappe on the right. And this postcard shows the Roßtrappe and the Bode Valley, and it illustrates the legend of how these places got their names. The postcard, which was mailed from Tala on July 16, 1921 to Magdeburg, Germany, tells the story of the Roßtrappe. It relates how Brunhilde, the lovely daughter of the king of Thuringia, was courted by Bodo, the wild son of the king of Bohemia. However, Brunhilde detested him. Nevertheless, a marriage was arranged between them. On their wedding day, Brunhilde sneaked away on a horse, and Bodo chased after her into the Harz Mountains. They reached the Bode Valley, and Brunhilde's horse made the leap over the chasm, landing safely on the other side. But in the process, the crown fell off her head. And then Bodo jumped after her on his horse, but they both fell to the depths into the depths of the canyon. And Bodo's guest was forever doomed to guard the golden crown. The Bode Valley was named after Bodo. I haven't been able to find out who these creatures in the river are, but perhaps they are sirens like the Lorelei on the Rhine River, as shown on this postcard. It is in the Hexentanzplatz that in pre-Christian times, the locals would eat magic mushrooms, give sacrifices, and dance around bonfires on the eve of May, all for the purpose of warding off evil and bringing in a fertile spring. Oh. Brunhilde's horse, skipped one. Okay, Brunhilde's horse dug his hooves deep into the rock, so this crag became known as the Roßtrappe, which translates as the clip-clop of a horse. One hoof print is said to remain to this day, as shown on this postcard. Now, Walpurgisnacht is derived from St. Walpurgis Night. It is the eve of the Christian feast day honoring St. Walpurga, who was an 8th century abbess of a double monastery in Dorset in southern England. A double monastery is one housing both monks and nuns. She later became the abbess of a double monastery in Germany. St. Walpurga was hailed by the Christians of Germany for battling witchcraft. In parts of Christendom, people continue to light bonfires on St. Walpurga's Eve in order to ward off evil spirits and witches. Others have historically made pilgrimages to St. Walpurga's tomb in Eichstätt in Bavaria on her feast day, which is May 1st. Local variants of Walpurgis Night are observed throughout Northern and Central Europe. Modern-day celebrations in Germany include dressing up in costumes, playing pranks, and lighting bonfires. This unused postcard shows the mountain peaks overlooking Bodetal with the Hexentanzplatz Hotel. on top on a suitably spooky night. Now, this postcard has a closer view of the Hexentanzplatz Hotel, which was founded in the mid-19th century and is still in operation. The postmark showed that the postcard was mailed from Tala, Harz District, to New York City on July 21st, 1924. It appears this postcard was provided by the Hotel Walpurgisnacht, even though it shows the Hexentanzplatz Hotel. The tourist who sent this postcard noted that it's a fine place. Now, shown is the Tala post office in its present state, and it is under restoration. This postcard shows another view into the Bode Gorge with the Walpurga Hotel visible at the bottom. The tourist who sent the postcard was also impressed, knowing that it is magnificent here. The Walpurga Hotel is still in existence and is now a youth hostel. The postmark shows it was mailed from Tala to England on June 23rd, 1904. Now, another postcard shows a watercolor painting of the Hexentanzplatz looking into the Bode Gorge. The postmark is from the Magdeburg-Tala Bond Post, which is a railway post office, on September 12, 1900. It was sent to Hanover, Germany, where it was received the next day. This shows a clearer view of a similar postmark. Now, this postcard shows a Tala Bahnhof, a railway station. The Magdeburg-Tala Railway is a predominantly single-track, non-electrified mainline railway. The rail connects Tala with Magdeburg, the capital of Saxony-Anhalt. Its eastern section between Magdeburg and Halberstadt was opened in 1843 and is one of the oldest railways in Germany. This postcard shows witches dancing with an inset view of the Hexentanzplatz Hotel. Surrounding the witches are bats, owls, and other birds. The tourists mailed this postcard from Leipzig, Germany on April 18, 1904, to Bradford, England, where it was received on April 20th. This postcard shows a cartoonish view of the witches' dance, complete with a flying goat and a bat. The postcard was mailed from Hartberg, Germany on July 21st, 1899 to Essen, Germany, where it was received the next day. Now, among other attractions on the Hexentanzplatz is the Walpurgishalle Museum. The German painter Hermann Hendrich, 1854 to 1931, sketched his ideas for the building as a log house in the old Germanic style. The museum was designed by Berlin architect Bernhard Sering and opened in 1901. Inside, the legends of the surrounding Harz Mountains and scenes from Johann Wolfgang von Goethe's play Faust are brought to life in 5 large paintings done by Hendrich. These paintings portray scenes of Walpurgisnacht. They are Irrlichtertanz, or the Will-o'-the-Wisp dance, Mammon's Hölle, or Mammon's Cave, Hexentanz, or Witch's Dance, Windsbrau, or Bride of the Wind, and Gretchen Erscheinung, or Gretchen's appearance, also known as Gretchen's Tragedy. These postcards all have this purple rubber stamp cachet. Now, this postcard shows a sacrificial stone, or Opferstein, with runic carvings, as can be seen here. The stone and a Bronze Age cult axe were found in the immediate vicinity during the construction work on Walpurgisnacht. The sacrificial stone is in the entrance to the hall, but today it seems the only sacrifices are coins. Now, the museum remains open to this day. The head of the one-eyed Odin, a Norse god, crowns a gable flanked by ravens, Huden and Munin, who symbolize Odin's thoughts and memory, and the wolves, Gary and Freki, who are guards and mediators. The postcard I just showed was mailed from Zala on August 17, 1901, to Vlissingen, Holland, where it was received the next day. And you know, the card also has a purple rubber stamp cachet. And this postcard shows a scene from Faust being played out on the Brocken. The play is about Heinrich Faust making a deal with the devil through the devil's representative, Mephistopheles. Walpurgisnacht and a German mountaintop are featured in the play. Some related stamps I found are one showing Goethe and Faust, such as this one from Germany, Berlin, Scott number N9N63, issued in 1949. The deal Faust made with the devil involved exchanging his soul for unlimited knowledge and worldly pleasures. This stamp from Germany, Scott number 1304, issued in 1979, shows Mephistopheles teaching magic to Faust, who is holding a flask containing a homunculus, which is an artificial human being. This stamp depicts a scene from the Christopher Marlowe play, Dr. Faustus. These two souvenir sheets from the Gambia also show Goethe and Faust. They're Scott numbers 21, 23, and 24. They show angels who appear at the end of the play and negate Faust's deal with the devil. That stamp from Moldova, Scott number 322, issued in 1999, shows Goethe along with Faust and Gretchen, Faust's love interest, whom the devil helped him seduce and whose life was destroyed when she gave birth to Faust's illegitimate child. And this is a postcard showing Faust and Mephistopheles. Though it's a German postcard, it was mailed in Russia. The German caption on the card says that it was the artwork of Matthew Molitor and shows a scene from Goethe's Faust. It was mailed in Leningrad to a military post office a few months after World War II ended and has a military censor hand stamp. This postcard and the information were given to me by Vitaly Geifman. Also on the plateau is the Tala Mountain Theater, Berg Theater Tala, one of the oldest open-air theaters in Germany. It has 1,350 seats and was founded in 1903. This unused postcard appears to have been published in 1972. Perhaps Faust is being staged here. The theater was founded by German writer Ernst Wachler. It opened on July 8, 1903, with the performance of, appropriately, the play Walpurgis by Wachler. This postcard shows a cast at the theater entrance in 1903, although it is not clear which play they were performing. And that is too chicken scratchy for me to make out. And then this postcard shows some of the cast members of the opening play of Walpurgis. Now, as early as 1878, a postal card printed to order by the German Postal Service was issued for Hexentanzplatz. It has a 5 Pfennig imprinted stamp on the back. And illustrated on the front is a drawing, the night of the witches at their meeting place. Bats and owls flying around in the sky, and devils also dancing. This is an illustration of another printed to order postal card, which shows the Hexentanzplatz Hotel. And this is another with a view of the witches' dance. I don't have any of these PTO postal cards in my collection, though. According to Mickel's private postal card catalog, from which I got these images, there are 23 different PTO postal cards for Hexentanzplatz. Now we'll move on to more modern times. I said earlier that I haven't found many stamps depicting Walpurgisnacht in the Hexentanzplatz, and this is the only one I found so far. A booklet stamp, Scott number 235A, issued by Olan on April 29th, 2005, depicting a Walpurgisnacht bonfire celebration. It's in a booklet of 8 stamps, which paid the second-class postage rate. The booklet cover shows a kids' party celebrating Walpurgisnacht, which is Walpurgisnacht in Swedish, if I pronounce that correctly. Now, although Åland is an autonomous region of Finland, its only official language is Swedish, which is used in government and in schools. And about 86% of the population speaks Swedish, and less than 5% speak Finnish. Now, Walpurgisnacht cachet appears on this modern cover with the Austria 2013 Halloween block of 4 haunted house stamps. Scott 2475. I don't have this cover. The image was provided to me by Fritz Friedrich. Another modern cover has a postmark showing a witch riding her broom over the Bode Valley. And I think Ohabria is a stamp show in Germany, but I'm not quite sure. Now, today, the Hexentanzplatz has become commercialized. It resembles a small theme park aimed at families. This unused postcard shows some of the attractions on the Hexentanzplatz. They are a theater, a restaurant, Hamburgwarte, which is a lookout tower on the site of a Germanic refugee castle near the Hexentanzplatz, Walpurgishalle, shown here and also here, and Bismarckshilfen, which is one of the many monuments in Germany to Chancellor Otto von Bismarck. The name literally means Bismarck stone. A newer unused postcard shows more attractions on the Hexentanzplatz. Here are the Hexentanzplatz Hotel, 2 photos of the cable car station, and part of a rock formation known as the Devil's Wall, which is a sandstone formation resembling a giant fence that extends approximately 12 miles on the Harz Mountain range. The cable car takes people from the Tala over the Bodental to the Hexentanzplatz, as shown on this unused postcard. And this modern cover has a postmark showing a witch riding in the cable car. The German stamp honors Beethoven's 250th birthday in 2020. That's Scott number 3144. Now, on the grounds are a toboggan run, as shown here, and small gift and craft shops, a playground, and a witch-themed miniature golf course. There's also a zoo, which is known as Tierpark in German. And there are over 70 animal species that are or were native to the Harz Mountains, including bears, wolves, Arctic foxes, eagle owls, and lynxes. There's also a petting enclosure with goats, chickens, and rabbits. There's also an upside-down witch's house with many hidden surprises inside. And inside you will meet your guide, and you can take a tour. As you can see, most things in the house are upside down. There's also an upside down tree on the grounds. And there are several sculptures, including this one of a devil, a devil's assistant, and a witch. This postcard shows more landmarks around the Hexentanzplatz. There's the Crown Temple, Kronen Temple, the hotel, a side gorge of the Bode Tal known as Hirschgrund, and Brunhilde's and Bode's Leap, complete with the falling crown. And I echo the sentiments of this postcard by saying, greetings from Hexentanzplatz. I hope you enjoyed this spooky visit. Thank you.
Okay, Ron, thank you for the presentation. I want to get in a little bit. I've got some questions, but I want to get into a couple of questions for you. You're one of the rare presenters that actually does something on Deltiology, and so I want to go back through. You'd mentioned that you got these images. I'm sorry, from where?
Well, most of them I have in my collection. Some I found online.
That was the question I wanted to find out. So, you know the story and you have the postcards. What came first? What was the chicken and the egg scenario here where you have all of these cards and they tell a very nice story. So did you pull the cards together or were you seeking the cards out?
Well, I was looking for a card showing Hexentanzplatz, and as I gathered them, the story started coming together. And then a combination of look at the postcards and doing online research led to this story.
So when the old joke in stamp collecting is postcard buyers use the wrong side of the card, but here I think you've presented very effectively both the philatelic side, the stamps, the markings, and things like that, as well as the images on the other side of that. Can you talk a little bit more about that for us, so that for those folks who are not really steeped in Deltiology, this is a place for them to learn a little bit more about the process of it?
Okay, well, I do collect postcards as part of my various collections, and I go for the image, but the message side of the card also tells a story. Sometimes when the stamp could be an interesting stamp or a postmark, or looking into when and where it was mailed, also leads to interesting information, and also reading the caption on the postcard on the back describing what's shown on the front gives you more information about it. And since I primarily a stamp collector, I do look for the stamps on the postcards and prefer used postcards to unused ones.
So for folks who are looking to get into postcard collecting or add that to their collecting, what's your recommendation on how to dive into that?
Well, just find something you're interested in, maybe something local, or something like I'm interested in horror, so I look for horror themed postcards. I also have Hitchcock themed postcards in my collection, so that's what I look for on eBay, on hippostcard.com, and other sites. You also could look for modern unused postcards at local postcard shops or local gift shops in your area. Although Wilkes-Barre doesn't have a lot of postcard sellers.
Okay, I have a question, and I'm going to apologize in front for my German. The viewer says, "Do you know Mendelssohn's cantata Die Erst Walpurgisnacht?" It's a really fun piece and might give you some new material.
No, I haven't heard that. Who's it by again?
Mendelssohn.
Oh, Mendelssohn. Okay, I'll have to look for that.
Okay. Personal question: what got you started on this?
Well, as Scott said in my introduction, I started reading Stephen King in 1979, and that got me interested in horror. I decided to combine my interest in horror and stamps with this topical collection. Actually, I don't know how I first found out about Walpurgisnacht or the Hexentanzplatz. It might have been while looking through eBay listings and coming across them by accident.
So I have a question here about Hexentanzplatz. Was that where the word originated? What's the origination of that word?
Well, back in ancient times, it's a plateau where the witches danced. So Hexen means witches, Tanz is dance, and Platz is place. So it's the place where witches dance. That's the origin of the name.
Perfect description for a Halloween night. I like that. Next question is, the postcard by Mr. Molitor shows two figures. Are they wax figures or sculptures?
They look like sculptures. I can't be sure. I didn't look into that, but I'll check it out. That's an interesting question.
We always get those interesting questions here when we're doing the stamp chats. It's the great thing about collectors. They always spot things that the rest of us weren't thinking about. That's all the questions I have in the queue for right now, Ron. Is there anything that we should leave on the out for this? Again, I'm really just, a lot of times, I'm always more fascinated by the process of how one goes about accumulating and organizing and collecting these. Postcards is not something that I have spent a lot of time on. Maybe other folks have, but any good advice for us as postcard collectors if we want to aspire to join the ranks?
Yeah, you just look for something you're interested in. And well, I don't have a very well organized. It's in an envelope. Oh. But there are albums out there that you could use. I haven't picked any up yet. And there are colored plastic sleeves size for postcards.
I do have a recommendation here for a 1922 Swedish silent film, Hexen, which I take it must be related to the topic that we're discussing here tonight.
Oh. Okay, what's that title again?
Hexen, Haxan.
Oh, okay, I have to look for that. Yeah, that sounds like the Swedish word for witches.
That might be right. All right. Well, with that, Ron, I've exhausted my questions and I've gone through all of the questions that we have. I want to just thank you again. This has been a great presentation. It was very interesting, perfect for a night like tonight. And I just want to say thank you for that. And I want to say thank you to all the folks who attended tonight and who attended the live presentation or are watching the recording. If you have questions, please remember to leave them in the comment section and we will respond. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the APS YouTube page for our future stamp chats. If you're not a member of the APS, please join today and become a part of our stamp community. For more information, visit us at stamps.org. Until next time, thank you very much.